by yourself, but still need the assistance of the government who didn't help to create said child. If you and the father had a discussion about parenting, most don't because they weren't even in a relationship to begin with. Prior to bringing life to this world, half those issues would be non-existent. But a baby mama gonna baby mama. That was savage right there. That was savage. That was savage. Oh snap! But yeah. So you tend when you go against code, when you call bullshit and air out dirty laundry, you go against code, and you get a lot of shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. You know what I'm saying? There were people typing entire essays and paragraphs. Where that though? Where that though? And a lot of it. Now let's identify the cause and effect, right? A lot of it is due to the fatherlessness. You know what I mean? Especially amongst black women, they're not accustomed to men being honest with them. You know what I mean? And so it stings, it hurts. They're not used to it. You know what I mean? And that's too bad. That's really too bad. If there's anyone to blame, it's the baby boomer angry black women, angry black mothers, the baby boomer angry black mothers. If there's anyone to blame, because really, like, the previous generation is always to blame for what the current generation is dealing with, but that's simply by default because of the position they're in. But ultimately, I feel like my camera's freezing. Is it? I don't know. But ultimately, it's more so about, but they're not really to blame. It's just circumstantial, simply because, we didn't ask to be here. You know what I'm saying? And they were working with what they knew at the time. You know what I'm saying? They were going off of where their knowledge set was in the day and age and the culture and all of that they were living in. You know what I'm saying? But if there's any, but at the end of the day, they meant well. And what I mean is, they raised their daughters to hate men, and also to be men. They raised their daughters to be men, but hate men. And so, it was a way of protecting them, because they saw what they experienced, what they went through, you know what I'm saying, with their men. And then they didn't want their daughters to go through the same fate. And so they raised their daughters to be tough, to protect themselves. Ain't no man, don't let no man this, and no man, ain't no man. You know what I'm saying? And they meant well. But what subconsciously, and now you have that energy with no balance. What kind of woman do you raise? You raise a pseudo lesbian, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And so they raise their daughters to be men, but hate men. And so now they raise their daughters to go against their natural urge to bear children. Because how do you hate men but still want to have children? What kind of family are you establishing in that, with that kind of energy going in? You see what I'm saying? And so here's where you have this, so-called independent trend of the 80s and 90s. So, you got groups like Destiny's Child, who were they were manufactured. They're pop R&B. They were manufactured. So of course, whatever they were singing about, they didn't really have any kind of real emotional investment in what they were singing about. They didn't experience it, right? And so there was a propaganda push, for independence. You would open up an Ebony magazine and this and that, whatever media platform, and it was always, you go girl power, and this, so on and so forth, right? And so, because these corporate marketers, they understand who the consumers are. You know what I'm saying? They understand what influences the retail consumers. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll market to men, but still market to women, because the women influence the men. You know what I'm saying? And so they'll market to women and market to the women through the men. But when you think about the word independent, And so because they're marketing to women and they stroking women's egos, it's very easy for them to just take something and run with it. You know what I mean? Because that's pretty much, that's really the nature of a woman, is to seek adoration and validation. You know what I'm saying? And so any kind of bragging and boasting that garners them some sort of attention, they're gonna go for it. So yeah, I'm independent. Hey, you know. But the word independent. So I did some AI research. You know what I mean? So I said, what's the definition of the word independent? And they said the term independent typically refers to something or someone that is not influenced or controlled by others in matters of opinion, conduct, etc. It can also refer to something that is not dependent or contingent